teacher qualifications. We take a look.
Plus, the temperatures are on the rise. It's not looking good. We'll break it down in the Skywatch Weather Center.
And a 7th victim has died following Highland Park's 4th of July mass shooting.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Missouri changes its teaching requirements to combat a growing teaching shortage. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, schools across the Show Me State are struggling to fill open teaching positions. And now the State Board of Education is making it easier to get into the field by changing the license requirements. As Lauren Schwinsker reports, the new change even applies to substitutes.
Schools across Missouri are looking for teachers and substitutes, and new changes from the Missouri Department of Education are designed to help a growing shortage.
Retirement requirements for retired teachers, they've lifted the hours that they can substitute teach. So now a retired teacher can basically substitute all they want.
That's Superintendent Jim Dickey of Mountain Grove Schools. He says the district is excited about the change.
There is the ability now for a substitute teacher to receive that certification through an online training that they can do through DESE's website. Instead of, if they don't have 60 college hours, they can do this. It's a 20-hour training online. That's a great tool that is available to us now.
Now people looking to teach who score just below a passing grade can still get their license if they've managed to complete other requirements, such as maintaining a 3.0 GPA in their college work and supervised student teaching, according to DESE. Laura Mullins, the president of the Missouri National Education Association, voiced her concerns about the changes.
There are plenty of people that met the old requirements that if they had better pay, if they had more professional rights, if they had more admin support, I think that is really what is making the difference.
Mullins also says she has concerns for the retention rate of substitutes or teachers staying for the long haul.
We want the best for kids when we're gone. I know as a teacher, when I'm gone, it's really hard to prepare, quality plans for learning when, they might be coming in, never been in a classroom, never had experience with classroom management. I think everybody loses when we lower the expectation.
Well, school leaders in Mountain Grove believe the changes will bring more substitute teachers to the district. The deadlines to register to vote for upcoming elections are nearly here, and folks in Missouri are just about out of time. The deadline for the August 2nd primary in the Show Me State is today. For the August 2nd primary in Kansas, though, the deadline is July 12th. Oklahomans will vote again on August 23rd, and they need to register by July 29th. And in Arkansas, the deadline is July 10th for the next municipal election set for August 9th. Well, our triple-digit forecast continues, and Chris Warner joins us for the first look at how hot it's gonna get.
I don't know if you want to know how hot it's gonna get. I was channeling my inner Rockette just a moment ago. I guess that's how hot it's gonna get. Take a look, 7th and Range Line. It looks nice, doesn't it? I mean, if you look at this picture, people are going to work, going to lunch, doing their thing. Unfortunately, they're doing it under extremely warm temperatures, 96 right now. Heat index already up to 102. So here's the thing. Humidity's not very high. It's the dew point that's killing us. Temperatures across the region, we are all getting into that mix of kind of heat out there. Lower 90s to mid to even upper 90s in some cases. So let's talk about those dew points real quick. As I said, humidity's not the thing killing you. It's these dew points. We're all sitting in the upper 60s, the lower 70s. When you take that into account, take a look at the dew point tracker. That puts us in that muggy to soupy range. And it definitely feels that way if you walk outside, and take a look at how it feels when you walk outside. Mid 90s to lower 100s. Temperatures are going to continue to increase, unfortunately, and also unfortunately, take a look at this, the Skywatch Storm Tracker. There's nothing on it. We were watching these this morning. You may remember there was a bigger batch of thunderstorms and stuff here, and as promised, they're gone. They're out of here. They're donezo. What's not out of here, though, is this excessive heat warning, which runs until Friday morning or Thursday night, your choice, at midnight, and that's because of how hot it's going to get. We're going to break down the rest of the forecast for you here in just a little bit.
All right. Have you ever heard the phrase, it's hotter than a billy goat with a blowtorch?
I can't say that I have. I've heard other phrases related to the heat, but not necessarily that one.
We're going to have fun sharing some of these.
I'm looking forward to more fun heat phrases.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, the suspect in the Highland Park Independence Day Parade mass shooting is being held without bond. Details about his past interactions with police raise questions about why he was allowed to legally purchase guns. Bradley Blackburn reports from Highland Park, Illinois.
The alleged gunman who opened fire at a 4th of July parade outside Chicago appeared in court Wednesday to face 7 counts of first-degree murder.
Based on the information that the investigation has produced so far, the judge found that the evidence was at such a level that he could be held without bond. Also, because the fact that it is a man.
According to Highland Park Police, authorities were called to Robert Crimo III's home twice in 2019. In April of that year, officers responded to a reported suicide attempt, and again in September, when a family member told police the suspect had a collection of knives and threatened to, quote, kill everyone.
The police removed 16 knives, a dagger, and a sword from Crimo's home. At that time, there was no probable cause to arrest. There were arrests.
The family didn't press charges. Officers did notify state police of the incident, but months later he was allowed to obtain a state firearms owner's ID. Police say he legally bought 5 weapons, including the high-powered rifle used in Monday's shooting. Illinois does have red flag laws that allow for guns to be taken away from someone in distress, but the suspect did not own guns in 2019 and had no further interactions with police. This community is mourning the 7 people killed, including Irina and Kevin McCarthy, who were at the parade with their 2-year-old son.
It makes no sense how anyone could do this to a child where there are children.
Natalie Laurent says she and her family were right next to the McCarthys. That's their plaid blanket.
And to think that that could have just as easily been us.
The boy is now being cared for by his grandparents. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, Highland Park, Illinois.
A GoFundMe account for the boy has been set up and has raised more than $2 million so far. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, blowing in the wind.
A one-of-a-kind Bob Dylan recording is going under the hammer here at Christie's in London. I'm Ian Lee with how this old song is breaking new ground and possibly setting a record.
And later we're making flank steak pinwheels in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. 60 years ago, Bob Dylan recorded the song Blowing in the Wind, and now a new exclusive recording of that song on a new format pioneered by producer T-Bone Burnett is being sold at Christie's auction. CBS's Ian Lee got a chance to listen in.
When Bob Dylan released Blowin' in the Wind, it quickly became the anthem of a generation. The song spoke to the issues of the time, including the civil rights movement. 6 decades later, Dylan re-recorded his breakout hit. But there's a catch. You'll likely never hear it.
What they're getting is a one-of-a-kind recording of Bob Dylan that was made especially for them.
Music engineer Mike Piersante recorded the new track with Dylan.
The fact is that the lyrics were written for a certain time, but they still seem to resonate today.
The recording is closely guarded. We can't let you hear it. It can only be listened to in person.
Wow. It's like you're in the room listening to him.
And while it looks like a typical record, this is cutting-edge tech.
What we're doing with these discs is something that was initially developed by NASA and used to protect parts of the space station.
The process takes the very original acetate recording and applies what's called ionic deposition, essentially making it more durable while maintaining the sound quality.
It's bulletproof in a sense. The quality of this format was chosen because I think Bob and T-Bone thought this was the ultimate analog sound.
This kind of ultimate sound has never been sold before.
It's like an oil painting. This is a one-of-a-kind, unique disc and listening experience.
So how much will the record go for? Well, the answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind.
The answer is blowing in the wind.
Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
Well, Christie's Auctions House predicts the recording will go for between $750,000 to $1 million when it's sold tomorrow. Whatever the amount, it's going to blow us away. Still to come on the KOAM News at Noon, Mr. Food.
Join us today as we demystify the meat case by cooking up a longtime favorite in a whole new way.
But first, Chris Warner returns with your complete forecast.
It's another hot one out there in the 4 states today, unfortunately. The nice thing is if you're looking out the window, or if you're looking with our tower camps about 300 feet up from 7th and Range Line, it doesn't look so hot as long as you're in a nice air-conditioned building. But if you are not in an air-conditioned building, this is what it's like. It's 96 at the noon hour. 102 is what it feels like. Like I mentioned earlier, humidity is not what is killing us. It's the dew point that is really getting us. So temperatures across the area are sitting from the lower to mid 90s for most of us. So unpleasant to say the least. And we factor in the dew point. Take a look at these dew points, upper 60s, lower 70s. And that's what's killing us with this heat, because when you take that into account, we are in that muggy to soupy range. And that is exactly how it feels. It's like walking into a bowl of soup. Take a look at these feels like temperatures. Iola is lucking out. 92 is their heat index, while everybody else is in the mid to upper 90s and even lower 100s. And these heat indices are going to continue to go up. Skywatch Storm Tracker showing us nothing. We were watching these little guys this morning, but as promised, they have since gone away. Here's what we're watching locally. So our friends in Northeast Oklahoma are under a heat advisory for right now, but everybody else in this nice magenta color, excessive heat warning that runs until midnight tomorrow night or Friday morning, to take your pick on how you want to phrase it. And that's because the temperatures are going to do this number. You see, this is 7 a.m. 80 degrees at 7 a.m. And then I didn't notice this until now, but the sun is blocking the heat. It's trying to hide the bad news from you, but we're looking at 102 again tomorrow. There is a breeze, but it's not necessarily going to do much to cool you off. It just is blowing out there, but it shouldn't be too crazy. But we could see some gusts upwards of 20, 25 miles an hour. Let's take a look into the future. I wanted to take a stop right around here. You can see by Thursday, maybe an isolated storm tomorrow. Otherwise, it's really not going to do much for us at all. As a matter of fact, if we take a look at the planner, there you go. 78 to start your day, 97 already by noon like we're seeing right now, and 102 and maybe an isolated shower or storm in the area. Most of us are going to stay dry, and it's going to stay relatively miserable out there. We got some cloud cover, but you watch those temperatures, it clearly doesn't do anything for them because they continue to stay relatively, hey, there's that thing again. Check that out. Future feels like, so you're not going to like this either. Look at this. This is later tonight into this evening. 5:30, still going to be feeling like it's almost 110 degrees outside. When we go into tomorrow afternoon, we're going to see the same thing. Look at this, 106 Joplin, 108 in Miami. Unpleasant temperatures across the board. Now, the excessive heat warning is why we do have a couple of alert days out for today and tomorrow, because again, it expires tomorrow right in this slot here. Temperatures 102, 103 tomorrow. Again, maybe an isolated storm. 103 on Friday. Then we have a cold front coming through Saturday, and that's going to drop temperatures, if you can call it that, to 93. 100 by Sunday. 101 again on Monday. 98 by Tuesday. Temperatures will rebound quickly after this brief little cold front spell, or whatever it is you want to call it. We do have another somewhat decent chance of maybe an isolated shower storm through the weekend, hence the cold front, but most of us are going to stay dry. Most of us are going to heat right back up again. So, and again, with that excessive heat warning, make sure you're taking precautions if you're outdoors, because it's going to be, this type of heat can be deadly. It's very dangerous. If you're working outside, or if you're going to be outside, stay hydrated, get inside, cool off when you can, and watch for signs of heat stroke, and check up on some of the elderly and the children as well, because children especially, they don't realize it's that hot.
Oh, no, they don't.
They're just running and playing, having a good time, and then they collapse. So make sure you are taking precautions.
And don't forget, your skin, your bare skin on things it's dangerous. You need to take precautions for sidewalks.
Yeah,
playground equipment.
My car is black, and grabbing the door handle in the sun can still burn you. So make sure
you set your kid down into a leather car seat.
Yeah, not good. Not good
Painful.
at all.
Set yourself on one. Yeah. Carry a towel with you or something. All right, sounds great. Thanks, Chris. We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero, Specialist First Class John Hines in the U.S. Army. Soldier from Rocky Comfort, Missouri, joined the 704th Engineers in 1951. He served in Korea. To Specialist John Hines, we thank you, our 4-state hero. Looking for a mouth-watering, savory meal that's perfect for Sunday night supper? Howard shows us how to make flank steak pinwheels in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
When you stop by the meat case, do you feel overwhelmed? If you do, you're not alone. It can get pretty confusing. But if each week you pick up one cut of meat and get familiar with it, in no time you'll feel like a pro. To get things going, today we're going to use one of my favorite budget cuts, flank steak. To start, we butterfly it. That simply means that we cut it in half horizontally, almost all the way through, so it opens up like a book. Then we sprinkle with a mixture of Italian breadcrumbs, Parmesan cheese, and olive oil. Over that, we place a layer of sliced salami and provolone cheese. We roll it up jelly roll style and secure it with bamboo skewers. After trimming it, we cut slices about an inch or so thick, making sure that each piece is secured with a skewer. Then, sear these off on a grill or in a skillet and finish them off in the oven. Serve these for a quick weeknight dinner. Everyone will think you fussed all day. To get the recipe for our flank steak pinwheels, all you have to do is check out our website. I'm Howard of the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a meat and cheesy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
I'm gonna have to pin that recipe on my fridge and make it. You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4-state market prices.
Hey, look at this. This is our future feels like for later today. This is why the excessive heat warning is in effect for so many of us across the 4 states. We're going to be pushing close to 110 in some areas. And I wanted to show you real quick tomorrow, too. It's the same story. You can just copy and paste this. Look at that. Those numbers really didn't change from tonight to tomorrow, pushing 110 again. So that's why that excessive heat warning continues. 7-day forecast also showing us temperatures with more than 2 numbers in them, and they don't look very good, except for Saturday.
Yeah, and Saturday night drops below 70 degrees, something to look forward to.
You can maybe open the window and give your AC a brief break.
Just for like an hour.
Yeah, just a little bit.
We can do it. I'll set my alarm to wake up just to enjoy it.
Just to do that.
Until it disappears again. All right, thanks, Chris. Well, coming up tonight at 5, fine art is changing the hospital experience for some cancer patients. In Health Watch, we look at the research showing art can reduce a patient's need for pain medication, lower levels of depression, and boost satisfaction. Plus, members of the Nevada Community Garden work side by side with people with disabilities to help learn new skills and become self-sufficient. And Jasper County Sheriff K-9 retires today with more than 100 arrests and several hundred pounds of narcotics located.
Service is provided by the Wild Side.